It seems construction always booming in Atlanta, but is it now time for the construction industry to turn to artificial intelligence to speed some projects up? Let's bring in Atlanta entrepreneur KP Reddy. He says yes, it is, and he has just the company to do that. KP, good morning to you, sir.
Hey, good morning, Dan. How are you?
I'm doing just fine. Thank you for your time. What are some of the problems the construction industry is facing these days, and how do you think AI can solve them?
Yeah, so if you think about construction, it's very complicated. So there's just lots of emails. So 150 different entities work on a project. And what AI is allowing people to do is take all that data and actually make decisions. And so hopefully it cuts the timeline to get projects done. Definitely has an impact on cost reduction. And quite honestly, we have a massive labor shortage right now in construction. So anything we can do to kind of give people superpowers to do their job better and also safer. One thing we forget about is construction is dangerous work. And it's a very difficult time with all the projects for people to execute well and then also keep themselves safe. So AI is a great companion to help them do better.
Yeah, you mentioned that worker shortage. I think about the data center demand that we are seeing here around Metro Atlanta, as you know, and nationwide, the need for electricians. How do you think this could help out in that regard specifically?
It's complicated work. So if AI can be your companion to help you de-skill, in other words, you don't have to be an expert electrician, or maybe you're an apprentice electrician to be able to get help all the time. We also have a high retirement of this expertise. So how do we capture all that intellectual capital from all these people retiring and leaving the trades? And AI is a great companion to really help teach and support people in the field, especially, so that maybe when they have a question, they don't make an unsafe decision. They collaborate with their AI companion and make better decisions and are able to do more with less.
So KP, tell me where your new company, Zero RFI, comes into play here.
Yeah, so we're essentially the AI companion to really help owners manage all this information and help make better decisions faster. A lot of the indecision is what really drives costs and schedule busts. So we're able to help them make decisions a lot more quickly when they're having to look at 100 different documents to make a single decision. Instead of it taking weeks to go through all that information, we're able to support them, not just with AI. Like, one thing we're doing is we're hiring a lot of people because we think AI is something that should kind of be behind the scenes. This is very much a relationship expertise business. And so, we actually put people on site with them with this utility belt of sorts to really help them execute projects well. So in many ways, we're a tech company, but we're really a services business that's supported and scaffolded by amazing proprietary technology that we've built ourselves.
KP, I read that you went to a pretty good school for engineering, Georgia Tech, got your civil engineering degree there. Talk to me about how you might want to try to tap into that school and maybe recruit some fellow Yellow Jackets to help you out here.
Yeah, so I grew up in Atlanta, 53 years was in Atlanta, moved to the Bay Area a couple of years ago. And we're very intentional by having kind of a dual headquarters in San Francisco and Atlanta. Honestly, a lot of our engineering team is in Atlanta. Our CTO, Dr. Barry Clark, and I worked at a company out of ATDC that spun out of Georgia Tech. So we have very deep roots. My son, who works for me, went to Georgia Tech. My wife went to Georgia Tech, and my son's about to graduate from Georgia Tech in May. So. And my 3-year-old, he'll yell "Go Jackets" at any given moment. So it's pretty embedded in our family.
With all this talk of AI, the potential for just changing how we know work as we know it, do you think there's one construction problem out there that AI can't solve?
I think there's always these edge cases, right? And I think the other thing is, in construction, it's, like I said, it's very complicated. I think, we're a ways away from robots and all of that. I think, we're going to see more like robot assistant type situations. But, AI is not great with judgment. AI is great at delivering all the facts, all the information. The cognitive overload for humans to delve through all that, that's the hard part. But human judgment always reigns. AI can only help you with things it already knows. It can't help you with something that you haven't seen before. And that's where judgment matters. That's where experience matters. So I think human judgment still wins, right? And I think in construction, there's a lot of human judgment required. It's just the sifting through all the data is the hard part, and AI is just a great companion to really help you sift through all that data.
KP Reddy talking about his new project, Zero RFI, and just a fascinating conversation about the future. We appreciate your time this morning, sir.
All right, thanks, Dan.
Yeah, you're welcome.